What happened?
Luna's rude to me. I'm not rude to you. It was a joke.
She was joking.
Jokes are mean. Jokes are cruel. Jokes are neither nice nor cool.
Oh, period. Eminem who?
Dutch Bros. Dutch Bros, Halal Bros. Think about it.
Bros? Bros before house?
Bros before good food.
And oop.
What's all this food over here?
Dude, you let the Lennox eat without a plate.
Oh, yeah.
He's eating fried chicken
Fried
over a
chicken
piece of...
without a plate.
Over a napkin, dude.
Do not recommend. We should just watch all these.
But why though? We just watched them when your parents were over.
Well, we're a messy family. Look at this.
25% of us. Okay. So we ate at Halal Bros in West Sacramento. There's been an explosion, a huge increase recently of the hummus, falafel, it's Greek, Mediterranean, Middle Eastern cuisine in recent years. They're springing up all over the place. I used to live in Citrus Heights next to Extreme Hummus, and they were fantastic. We dined at Falafel Corner on Bradshaw in Rosemont, also very good.
P2Q is a famous
P2Q on Folsom Boulevard, yeah.
Folsom and Bradshaw.
Yeah, fantastic place. And then Halal Bros, there's also Halal Guys, and I don't know if they're related. I don't care enough to Google it or Bing it or Chat GPT it. But Halal Bros opened in West Sacramento sort of recently, a year or two ago. I see Lennox. Oh, he's pushing his scooter and died, dude. Rip.
And oop.
Halal Bros, Halal Guys. I mean, it's all the same thing.
Halal dudes.
Halal dudes. Halal brews. Halal sisters. It's all generally the same menu. You got grilled meat, and I would consider it healthy. They got the salad thing. They got grilled meat, and then they got rice. But we drove by it when we got our groceries, and you said, "Oh, I want to go to Halal Bros," and I said no. Because I consider it healthy, and when I dine out, I don't want to eat healthy.
You've been telling me no for years.
Yeah. I've been telling you no for years.
And oop.
Okay, we're potting. In case you couldn't tell.
In case you couldn't tell the magic happening here. The broadcasting magic.
And oop.
Yeah, when I go out to eat, I want to eat fried food. I want to eat Chinese food. I want to eat pizza. Until I'm in pain. I don't want to be healthy, and I would consider Halal Bros / Halal Guys / Dutch Bros / Dutch Brews healthy. So I said no, and I'm very careful with my yeses, honey, because I don't want to make you feel like you're winning too much.
Oh,
in our love and relationship, I kind of
strategic.
Yeah, I allocate out my yeses slowly, methodically, diabolically. Over a period of decades. But later in the day, I was like, let's go check out Halal Bros. Okay, so we walk in, and place is empty. It's a small place, just a couple tables. Walk up to the lady who's working the register there. And they have a small menu, which I appreciate. It's not like they're out here with 40 pages like a Cheesecake Factory. But so they got a couple proteins, lamb, steak, shrimp. And then they have how you can how they serve it, or the entrees they offer it on. One of them is a kebab, and one of them is a platter. And so we asked her, "What's the difference?" And she said, "Well, it's cut differently." And I was like, "Okay, I kind of get that. A kebab skewer, like grill, and a platter is not a grill or skewer." It was confusing. And then she said that they're seasoned differently. And I was like, what? But she didn't go into any detail. Like, oh, the kebab has turmeric, but the platter has Lowry's season. I don't know.
It's very mysterious.
Yeah.
And I still don't know.
We're trying to crack the code. We're like Nicolas Cage in National Treasure. Trying to figure out. But she wasn't offering much insight. And after a while, you just give up because National Treasure 2 will come out. Another thing is that, so we both get a platter and a samosa, a little appetizer. And she was like, oh, it's $21. And I was like, oh, that's a good price. Because if we can both dine out for about $10, I'm like, that's good. A little thrifty, a little saving some money. My mom would be proud. And then I thought, wait, my platter was $10.99, and so was yours.
And then we also got the samosa.
And the samosa, yeah. So our total was $26. She said 21. She didn't correct herself. What is this madness?
Well, she was young. I think she was, her mind was on other things.
Well, I understand making mistakes, but she could have looked down. She could have paid attention. She could have cared about service. I mean, she was nice, but yeah, the seasoning, the $5 difference in charge, it's beguiling. So the food comes out in like an aluminum container.
Yeah, like a disposable aluminum dish.
Yeah, like a small little casserole dealio dish. And I get it, because then she doesn't have to do dishes. The staff doesn't have to do dishes, and you save in time and labor and all that stuff. But it's not good for presentation, because you're just like, serve this MRE, and you look down at it and you're like, okay. And everything's like put together instead of like, here's my rice over here, and here's my salad on this part of the plate, here's my protein over here. And so it just wasn't aesthetically appealing. And then the silverware. So they give you the plastic silverware. Again, they're saving time, money, and labor. And I'm imagining doing dishes at a restaurant is the worst job of all time. But they give us like a little plastic container with a fork, spoon, and knife, plastic silverware. But it was like the smallest fork, spoon, and knife.
Like the weakest, like not at all, no sturdiness.
Yeah.
Whatsoever.
Very small, very weak, and I'm like eating the rice and with this tiny fork. It's like a children's silverware. Mm-hmm. Like everything's super small. So I'm eating the rice with this tiny fork, and I'm getting like 3-4 grains of rice per forkful. I was like, well, this is gonna take a while. Like, what the heck?
It helps you eat slowly so you can savor it.
Oh, I see. Oh, she was trying to help us out. Trying to be here's you eat 2 grains of rice per mouthful, and you'll be mindful.
Yeah.
You won't go into the fog eating where a lot of people just like eat bags of chips, and by a lot of people I mean me, bags of chips and crackers nonstop, and you don't know what you're doing. You're just throwing it on. Oh, she was helping me.
She cares.
She cares. Not about the seasoning
or the price.
Telling us the correct charge, but in terms of the tiny. So well, like they have that cheap small plastic silverware at Walmart, but then they also have like decent plastic silverware, premium, if you will. It's like 3 cents more per fork, per spoon, per knife. Go all out. Go premium.
Save a penny wherever you can, honey.
No. We sit down, and it's a table in between 2 benches, and your bench, the table from you was a correct amount. It was a few inches in front of your bosom.
Yes.
Your undulating breasts. But the bench, I sat in the opposite bench. And the table was like 1.5 feet in front of me. So I'm like leaning over with my tiny fork, eating 3 grains of rice per mouthful. It was very uncomfortable bending forward like that. Like, I really, you know what, she cared. She wanted me to work my core.
Oh, yeah.
I was working my core. She knows I skip leg day. She could tell I lift, but yeah, I need...
Core strength is not your strong suit.
Right.
She could tell.
Right, yeah. So I'm leaning forward, barely eating anything. It's a bad experience. And then We got water, and they do the water as part of the soda fountain thing. And so, like, I got us a couple waters. But when you press on the water, like, a few seconds of the soda comes out before the water.
Ooh.
Yeah. So one water was had a little bit of pink lemonade. And I was like, this is just put out a pitcher of water over there, or have water have its own spout maybe. But I took the pink lemonade one, honey, because
I had no idea that you did that.
only the worst for me, only the best for you, my darling.
You sacrificed so much.
I do. Okay, so the veggie samosa, so fried dough with some stuff in it. What do you think, honey? Thoughts, feelings, comments, reflections on this appetizer?
I'm not a big samosa fan.
Same.
Although it's like, every culture has like bread stuffed with stuff.
Yeah, like
that's
Chinese food, pot stickers or whatever.
But there's something about samosas. They're always like the breading is always really dry.
Yeah.
And then the stuffing is always kind of dry too. It's just a
Dry
very
on-
dry thing.
Dry on dry.
And not a ton of flavor.
Yeah. It's odd color. It's like a turmeric brown orangish color. There were peas and carrots inside, but you could tell they were frozen. Those peas were sad, yo. They were not green. They were like yellow brownish peas. There were some sad ass peas, some SAPs, if you will. SAP.
SAP.
Right. It's an acronym, and also PEA. Wow. SAPE. There were some sad ass peas. It was not good. The dough was fine. I mean, you fry some dough, you're in for a good time. But overall, the innards, the stuffings, no bueno. You got a mixed platter, honey, for your main entree. You got half chicken, half lamb. A platter is described as served with, well, you get the protein and then served with basmati brown rice, side salad, and your choice of white sauce, hot sauce, or BBQ. You got the white sauce and the hot sauce on your platter. Thoughts, feelings, comments, reflections, my love?
I got white sauce only on the top, and then I got the red sauce on the side, and they handed me a little plate with packets, like little...
Yeah.
So it wasn't a cup of sauce I was expecting.
The red sauce is sriracha, dude. Like, because I got red sauce on the side, and it's sriracha, and I was like, okay, well, I thought they were like whipping up some fancy homemade, bespoke, handcrafted hot sauce in the back, but it's just sriracha.
I liked it, but the lamb, I wasn't a fan of the lamb. It was diced,
Ooh.
so it was like little cubes.
Cubed.
It was dry.
Terrible.
It wasn't a good texture or flavor.
Terrible.
The chicken was very good.
Yeah.
And the white sauce was super good. I wonder what's in it.
Yeah.
And then it's over lettuce and rice, which is yummy, but there was a lot of rice.
Yeah.
So by the time I was like halfway through, it was mostly rice, and so I did end up ripping open the sriracha packets just for moisture.
Yeah.
I didn't really like the sriracha on it, but it was just like dry rice underneath, so I had to like add something to it.
Yeah.
The chicken was great, the white sauce was great, but the rest was just kind of unimpressive.
I got an all lamb platter because coming from Extreme Hummus and Falafel Corner, their lamb is out of this world, bussin', super duper good. And that's what I was expecting. But once again, going back to this disposable, convenient aluminum container, the top third of it is salad, and then the bottom third is this cubed lamb that you mentioned. And I was like, okay. But once you dig into the cubed lamb surface, it's like topsoil. It's very thin layer on top, and then there's just a ton of basmati rice underneath. And the rice was okay. It wasn't bad rice. But I was like, this is... They're hiding the amount of rice, disguising it, and we're played as fools, honey! But I was like, okay, well, there's a lot of rice going on here. They hide it, and then once you dig in, there's way too much of it. Like we said, this red sauce, it's just sriracha. They just give you packets of sriracha. So I got my white sauce and red sauce on the side. It's tiny ketchup packets of sriracha was the red sauce. And then the white sauce, they gave a tiny little cup, like when you get ranch at a pizza place. it was not nearly enough. It wasn't enough for that tiny amount of salad. It wasn't enough for the cubed lamb, and it wasn't enough for the tons of rice I had. So I had to ration my white sauce, which was good. It was good, but there wasn't enough. So I'm like taking tiny, tiny dips of it and trying to make it last. Trying to make it last forever, like the Keith Sweat song. Okay, so my curriculum vitae for being a food critic, honey, is I watched the Food Network for a decade of my life, pretty much straight, 24 hours a day. And how lamb and skewers is made is they chop up a bunch of lamb. In this case, we'll go with lamb in this case, but they chop up a bunch of lamb in thin slices, and then they have this huge sharp spindle, like a skewer, and then they stack it on there layer by layer. I'm sure it takes 45 minutes to build the whole thing up, and then this spindle skewer thing spins around and it cooks. They heat it, and that takes a couple hours. So it's this huge long process, and then they take a knife to it and kind of slice the side of this whole skewer. But it's amazing to look at, this giant piece of meat spinning slowly, and then they take a knife to it, like Clark Griswold in Christmas Vacation when he cut the turkey with a knife. It's a show. It's something to look at. It's in mild words, it's spectacular. It's visually speaking. But that lamb is so good. But I don't know what was happening with this lamb. It was like ground lamb chopped up in cubes.
To get it cubed like that, they couldn't have been slicing it off a tower of meat.
Right.
Like that on a skewer.
Yeah.
So what was going on there?
I think it's ground lamb that they pack into big square blocks and then chop up with a butter knife. I don't know. But it's like Chipotle. They chop their steak up in little squares. Also off-putting. Terrible. And like when you cook a steak, you slice it against the grain or you slice it with the grain. I don't know. I don't care. But that's to preserve the texture of it. So the muscles and the fibers stay intact somewhat. But to just cube it is ridiculous.
The only time little cubes of meat is acceptable is on a frozen pepperoni pizza.
Ah, yes. A Totino's, perhaps, which we just ate, which was fan-frickin-tastic.
No other meat should ever be in a little square cube.
I know. It's
Never.
so unappealing.
And I think you're totally right. It loses
Yeah.
juiciness and texture.
The feeling of the cow. And what about the cow's feelings? Yeah, the cubed lamb protein. Well, at that point, it takes all the life out of it. Well, I mean, it is dead, but the lamb is dead, honey. But it takes all the zest out of it.
The spirit of the lamb is gone.
The spirit of the lamb is gone, and you're just eating cubes. It's like a post-apocalyptic thriller where we just get served slop. Like, here's your cubed meat. It's just disgusting. It's nasty. It was terrible. So there's a lot wrong with Halal Bros. Let's never go back, honey. So the lady lied to you about our total. Our total is $26. You tipped 20%, but I don't blame you because they do the thing that they turn the tablet around right after you order, and you're supposed to put your tip there. And I hate when they do that.
I do too.
Annoying.
But everywhere does that nowadays.
I know.
It's inescapable. So
Yeah.
you can not tip, I guess, but then you look like a jerk. And they're still preparing your food and you don't want to upset them.
Yeah.
So you got to do it.
Yeah. Well, I would err towards 15%. I mean, I do err towards 15%.
Yeah.
But Halal Bros, terrible. We'll never go back.
I miss Pita Q when we used to live near it.
Yeah, I miss Extreme Hummus.
Yeah.
There's good places. Halal Bros, not one of them. Maybe it's like the dude, like, bro, let's open up a skewer, a cubed protein meat facility and serve it and put sriracha on top. What? All right. Well, it was horrible. We'll never go back. There's a lot wrong with Halal Bros. We don't talk about Halal Bros. Anything else, honey?
Now I just want square pepperoni on a pizza.
We just had that.
I want more.
Totino's is fantastic, by the way.
We love Totino's.
It's not great, but it's good.
It's the party pizza.
It's the party pizza. It's like the Jack in the Box taco.
Oh.
It doesn't make sense on paper.
It's terrible.
It's a disaster. And visually, it's a disaster. Nutritionally, it's a disaster. But there's nothing like it. And Totino's pizza, super bussin'. Lennox, do you have a comment for the people? He does not.
Have you ever eaten cubed lamb, son?
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, he recently started putting peanut butter in his ice cream.
Cube lamb.
Yeah.
Does that sound good to you?
No.
Good.
It's scary.
It isn't.
It is.
Alrighty. Are we done, Lennox?
Sure.
Alrighty. Well, we're done. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful day. Use our promo code. Like, comment, share, subscribe. We're still good people, even though we hate the Halal Bros. Bye-bye.